Righty, I think we're live. Are we live? Are we live everywhere? I think we're live everywhere. Let's wait for somebody to say hello first before we kick off. Who's going to be first? Three watching. Hello, three watching. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Two watching. Okay, somebody changed their mind. No, this is not for me. Oh, back to three again. Hi, Rage Dev. Hey, Dad. Or Ragged Deb. Is it Raged or Ragged? I don't know. First. You are first. Definitely first. Well done. Right. So for those watching, I'm going to zoom through this because I've got lunch in like 50 minutes. So I'm going to zoom through this. So today I wanted to do a quick little video stream on setting this up, basically. So you can have multiple Windows installs on the same disk drives. So what I've got two SSDs in my PC. The first SSD is running these two, and the second SSD is running these two Windows. Yeah. So yeah, so what I'm going to do today is I'm basically going to delete this one and we're going to recreate it. So we're going to get rid of the clean one and I'm going to recreate a clean one. So we're going to do it from the test environment. So we're going to use the second SSD, SSD2 in this number here, down there. And we're going to install Partition Manager. We're going to delete this partition. And then we're going to install a brand new Windows 11 into it. And I'm going to show you how to do all of that. So I'm assuming that most of you guys have not got dual boot already, and you've just basically got Windows and you don't even see this screen because you've only got one option. So this screen's bypassed. But by installing two, you then get this Windows Boot Manager. You either get the kind of blue version or the black version, depending on which Windows Boot Manager version you've set up, Legacy or normal, is it? I can't remember. BCD edit. We'll have a look later. All right, so let's boot into test, and we'll clean out. We'll clean out the old test environment. Sorry, the old new environment. Clean environment. There we go. Nice, if I'm lucky. And we'll get going. Bill's watching. Bill's watching. Everyone's Bill's watching. Careful what you say. Right, so this is my test environment. We're not doing anything with this. This is where I test all my latency stuff for Fortnite and other things. So we're not doing that. So the two places we'll need to go onto the interweb are, number one, to download this free tool, which is a partition assistant, which we can resize partitions in. So we're going to basically take your entire C drive, we're going to shrink it in half, and then we're going to clean out the second half, and then create a new partition in that, and then install a new Windows in that. And by doing that, we'll then get those multiple options in Boot Manager. Right, so we're going to download the freeware for that. That's downloading. And the other thing we need to do is we need to go to the Microsoft Download Windows 11, and we're going to need one of these things. We're going to need a USB stick, at least 8 gigabytes, and it's going to be formatted, so make sure there's nothing precious on here that you need to keep because it's going to be wiped. But we need one of those, and we're going to install the installation media on that. And then we'll be able to boot from that and install a clean Windows from it. So they're the two things we need to download. So we've just downloaded, so we'll download that as well, the second one. So it's the installation media one. So we download that. So we've got our two downloads. Yeah. I'm going to open the first one, which is the Partition Assistant. If you need to Google this, it's just you can't even see. AOMEI, and then Partition Assistant, and then go to Home, and then AOMEI, Partition Assistant Standard. It's completely free. It'll have some annoying pop-ups, but I mean, you can always uninstall it or just not run it. after you finish with it. So yeah, so that's where to get that. And to get to Windows download page, you just Google Microsoft download Windows 11 and you'll go straight to here. So that's how you get to those two. Yeah, put a link in the description. I need to do that, definitely. Okay, we'll do that later. Right, let's go. We don't want the Pro Edition. We want to install now. Install now, please. Don't want to join the user experience program. No, thank you. Right, there's all these pop-ups. Here we go. So this is the partition assistant. So you can see I've got a SSD disk 0, sorry, an HDD disk 0, where I just keep all my files and downloads and videos and music and everything else. Then I've got the two SSDs in my PC. You'll probably only have one. So we're gonna do this one basically. So what I'm gonna do is you won't need to do this because you won't already have this, but I'm gonna delete this partition. Okay, that. Yeah. Delete that partition. So you don't need to do that because you will basically just have a really big C drive. Yeah. And then we will then need to, so pretend this isn't here and we're concentrating on this one. So I'm trying to get to the point where you will be starting at. So the first thing you'll need to do is find your C drive, right click it and do resize move partitions. And then you need to resize it. And pop-ups, this is what I mean about annoying pop-ups. Then you need to resize it. I normally go with 0.5 terabyte, which is plenty for me, but I only play Fortnite. But they don't use up too much space with Windows and Fortnite. Look, I'm using, what, how much am I using here on my main gaming environment? I'm only using up 111 gigabytes with Windows and Fortnite and any other tool that I run. So 500 gigabytes for me is plenty. Yeah, all my environments on these different disk partitions here. Right. So yeah, so you'll need to resize this, and you can just kind of drag it about. So that, because we've just deleted, can I move this? Yep. Because we've just deleted this one, I can actually increase the size of this into here now. But we're going to go the opposite way. You're going to go the opposite way. So you've basically, all you've done is you right-clicked, C drive, right-clicked, resize, and then you're going to drag it down to like halfway, whatever your half is. You might have a 2 terabyte SSD, you might have a 1 terabyte SSD. If you've got less than a 1 terabyte SSD, like a 0.5 terabyte SSD, this is going to be tight for you because you're going to be going to like here. Yeah. So we're basically, we're not, so you just basically resize it. What else do I do? Allow position alignment to optimize the performance. Yeah, that's fine. I don't do that one. Okay, so that's the only one I normally tick, I think. Allow the partition alignment to optimize the performance of SSD. Probably does some clipping or something. Right, so once you've got your 0.5 terabyte, your 500 gigabytes, I'm assuming as well, this all assumes that you've got half a disk free. If you don't, then you probably need to free up some disk space, yeah, by cleaning out things or moving it to an external drive or another drive that you've got, because we're trying to basically split the disk in half so you can then install a clean Windows on the second disk. That's the plan. Right, so once you've entered the new partition size for C, we're gonna, okay, let's just, I normally have, what, 500, let's go 480 or something. 480, yeah, so that's gonna resize to 480. Right. And then okay. Yep, there we go. No, it hasn't made any changes yet. It'll only make changes on a reboot, and it'll apply it on a reboot. So now we've got this free unallocated partition ready for our new Windows environment. So we can right-click that, create partition. I mean, I think we can, when we do install Windows 11, we can just install it without actually pre-creating a partition here, but I normally just create a new one. That's all fine. What are we going to call it? We're going to call it Win11 clean, or whatever you want to call it, basically here. Okay, that's that. So we've got a brand new Windows 11 clean. So the thing is, we want to do now is we want to make sure we work out which one this is going to be. So when we get into Windows install, we can actually identify it easy, because I don't think it'll say Windows 11 clean. We need to know which. Doesn't have a device name yet. I think we have to allocate it first. Okay, let's allocate it first, and then we can see what device name it's going to call it. So, so now we're going to click apply. That's going to reboot. It's going to so I've slightly resized that one, and yeah, it's going to create a new one there. So ready, steady, go. And restarting to Windows PE. Okay. Boring bit. Let me sit and wait for the progress bars. I've linked this up for my Elgato so you guys can see the BIOS and everything as well while we're doing this, because I don't normally do that. So I shouldn't lose you while we're restarting, in other words. Rebooting. Loading files. That's the partition assistant stuff. So all we've done so far is we've taken our C drive, we shrunk it in half, and then we've created a new partition where the second half was. So we've done so far. Why that 480 didn't stick? It keeps doing it to where I dragged it and not the 480 that I then later entered. I don't know. I might do this in 2 stages actually. It might do it to there, and then it might do it to 480. Does Windows 10 have a fix for sleep? Yeah, there is a fix, but you have to run a third-party program in order to fix it, and you have to run it in the background all the time. So there is a fix. But the main fix is to go to Windows 11. That's the main fix. Yeah, which app is it? I don't remember now. It's on my Discord somewhere, but there is a fix for it. But you do have to run a third-party app all the time. That's it. Why is it? I can't remember. Yeah, it's on my Discord, Lunacy. I think we're chatting with it in the timer resolution section. If you want to go and have a look. Yeah, look, now it's doing it in 2 stages. Look, now it's doing it to 480. So it did it to 486 first, and then it did it to 480. It's kind of considered it as 2 steps for some reason. Yeah, so this is all on the assumption that you have at least 50% of your disk free currently on your C drive. Yeah, if you don't, then you're going to need to move around some files and free up some disk space. But dual booting is great. I love dual booting. It solves so many problems where you go, my computer's running really slow. Why is it running really slow? So all I have to do is basically boot into a clean Windows 11 and see if it's still there. If it's still there, then you know it's maybe hardware related or BIOS related because they're the only things it shares. So it's really useful for troubleshooting, having dual boots. Also, it's useful if you've got a problem with your current operating system and you just want to start from a clean, a completely clean place. We need to get rid of that BCD edit, don't we? The clean one. To rule things out. And it lets you then keep running your existing operating system at the same time whenever you want to. So, and you can compare. Or you can build the new environment at your own speed. You can take like a week to make it in your own time, and you still got your original one. You don't have to wipe your original one and then rush 4 to 8 hours to set it all back up again. You can just keep your original one and then slowly build your new one at the same time in parallel. And you can just switch whenever you boot up. All right, so let's have a look. Oh, hang on, let's go back into here. All right, so now, make sure you guys can see all that. Now we've got, there we go. Completely clean partition there, and the C drive. Yeah, so we've resized the C drive, and we've got our new partition that we created here. So this is where we're going to install Windows into. At the moment, that E drive should not have anything in it unless I forgot to wipe it. No, completely empty. Completely empty. We've basically just created this one. It's completely empty. All right, so what's next? Oh yeah, I need to actually right-click properties. Now look, now it's given it a device name. So it's hard disk volume 6. So we need to remember volume 6 when we go and install new Windows, because there's going to be lots of places it's going to say, where do you want to install Windows into? And you're going to be looking at the sizes going, hang on, is it that one I've already got it into? Is it that one? Or they're all the same size. So knowing the device name, right-clicking and properties is really handy to identify it once we get to the Windows installer. Okay. Anything else we need to remember here? That it's 473-ish. It's the only one that's 473. So let's write it in the chat. So it's hard. So it's volume 6 and what, 473 gigabytes. Just to make sure we remember which one we're actually going to be installing Windows into. Right, so we've got this all ready now. So we're ready to go. So the next thing we need is we need to get our USB stick. Oh, not throw it on my keyboard. One of these. Plug it into your computer. I can reach over there. Actually, I shouldn't put it in that one. I need to be in this one, I think. There you go. Right, Right, so we've got that. So this has already got Windows 11 on here, but I'm going to wipe it and start again as well. So that I've got all right. So this has already got Windows 11 install files in here. So let's quickly format this. Right click it, format. Do a quick format. Fine. Format complete. Close. Now we've got a nice clean USB stick. And then we did the downloads, didn't we? We want state modified the media creation tool, which we downloaded from the Microsoft Windows 11 site. Right, accept that. So when you're creating this USB stick, I think what it does is it checks for your current license from the operating system that you're creating it from. So we shouldn't have to enter any license keys. Yeah, that's the one, DPCLAT. Yeah, get on Windows 11. Use the recommended options. Windows 11. I can't change the language because I don't know why. But we'll check because I'm on UK, so we'll change some other couple of things afterwards. So we're gonna put it on this USB flash drive, and it says it needs at least like 8 GB. So we're gonna go next, and then it finds that one next, and it starts downloading all the setup files for Windows 11. So as I say, I think it's taking the license key from the operating system that you're creating the installer onto. Relatively quick. Verifying. Oh, you know what I am going to need to do? Because I've got two network cards, one built into the motherboard, an Intel one, and a second one that I basically installed myself, a 10 gigabit a second one. Because I'm only running that second 10 gigabit a second one, when you install Windows, it doesn't have the drivers for it by default, so I have to switch back to the Intel one, part of the motherboard. So after this is done, I'm going to need to pull out the cable, move it, the Ethernet cable, move it into the motherboard's Ethernet port, and we're going to need to go into the BIOS and enable that network card because I have it disabled at the moment. It's annoying that. Yeah, this is the method I would recommend if you guys are running, especially Windows 10 or custom OS. So as opposed to just wiping it and saying, oh no, it's still broken, I would do this dual boot thing where you resize your C drive, you install a clean Windows 11 on the second half of the C drive, or the disk drive, the SSD, and then build it and then actually compare. And then you can see whether your custom OS or Windows 10 is less laggy, faster, whatever. Compare it to my Windows 11 clean install with my guide applied to it and debloated. Compare them. And then, because I get so many people saying, oh, I went to Windows 11 and it was really laggy. So I went back to Windows 10. And that's not going to be a viable option next year because Microsoft are dropping support for Windows 10. So, right, we're done. Flash drive is ready. We are ready to go. So before we do this, we need, yeah, so next thing we now need to reboot and we need to go into the BIOS. Because I need to enable my network card for the motherboard. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. There we go, in the BIOS. Right, so settings, integrated peripherals. So my onboard LAN controller is currently disabled. So I needed to enable that. And the other thing we need to do is quickly, while we're here, we might as well just switch around where it's booting from. So I've got the USB stick. Now it's the primary boot priority. We can put that back afterwards, or I think it actually goes back to normal after you've run it once anyway. But we're just switching those around quickly here. Right, so that's all on. That was all on. That's fine. So F10 it. Save and exit. Yep. Oh, let's switch over the network card, the Ethernet port. Ugh. I'm over 40, so I make that noise every time I do anything. Ugh. There you go. Oh, wait, that's not right. Not the port we're looking for. There we go. That's the port we're looking for. Right, so we've got the Ethernet now in the motherboard. We've enabled the network card. We'll swap them back once Windows is up and running, because then it can download the drivers for it. But for the Windows setup, we can't do that. All right, so it's booted onto the USB stick, which is why we've gone straight into the Windows setup screen. So we can't really do anything with the language, unfortunately, but I want time and currency format. I want United Kingdom, because I'm in the United Kingdom. But I actually only have a United States keyboard, so which one do I want? Probably that one? I can't remember. I think that one I need. Do that one. Right, install now. I normally set this up with my Hotmail account, my personal Hotmail account, but I don't want to do that for you guys. I want to just do a local account. All right, so yeah, okay, so gone to the advanced one. So here are all our partitions. So this is where it gets tricky, and we have to work out which one we're going to go into. What did it say? What was the size again? 473. Here we go. There's the one. That's the one we want. 473. This is why it's quite useful to remember the exact size you set it to, because now you can work out which one you're going to be installing into. Fine. Just see what else is on here. A few recovery ones I could probably have got rid of because I deleted the old environment. So we're going to end up with an extra recovery one, but they're quite small, so it doesn't really matter. So drive one, and we're installing into this 473 one, the clean one. And next. I think there's a way of actually, if you selected world back in the region settings, I believe you then don't get all the telemetry stuff because it doesn't know where to get it from. That's a way of kind of debloating your system automatically by actually just selecting a world. I don't know what keyboard it would default to. Or time zone. Yeah, I need to update the description for those two links, don't I, Bill? I think I'll do that in the after I stop streaming. I'll go back and edit the live screen information for those two links. I'll try and make a proper video in a month's time when I get my new computer, and everything's in 1080p, and I've got video editing software, and I'll try and make a proper YouTube video for this. But I just wanted to do a quick live stream of it. Right, restarting. Completely forgot it was Good Friday today. Completely forgot. No idea what the day of the week is. All right. So it should now give us the choice, and it should say Windows 11 at the top. Yep, there we go. So I know my head's in the way. Is that just gone straight into it without even? Even giving me the option to do anything. It's gone straight into it. That's the blue version of the Windows Boot Manager. Normally it gives you 10 seconds. I don't think I had 10 seconds there. So we're going to try and set up Windows now with a local account as opposed to a cloud account. Come on, hurry up. I am getting hungry. You guys have any cool Easter plans? Going away? Staying in? That storm in the UK last night was nasty. My garden furniture is halfway across my garden this morning. Yeah, that was really nasty. Bit brighter today, though. These reboots. What's for dinner? Just chilling over Easter. Right, so look, we've got, so it did give us 10 seconds. So now we've got the blue version of the boot thing. That's now redundant because we actually deleted that one. So we'll get rid of that in the BCD edits later. This one's the new one, the Windows 11. Let's hide my face. Oh wait, there's me. Okay, I'm disappeared. So yeah, you got the Windows 11 there now. This one. This is the new one. We're going to jump into that. Me come back. Don't know what's for my dinner. I haven't got a clue. I need to work that out. I've got some chicken out. I've got some. Got a chicken chasseur pre-made as well. Right. So I think this might be the bit where we can say basically world. Should we try it? Is there a world? Country region, right. Maybe it's not world. What would it be called? None? No, it wouldn't be called none. Countries of the world. What does that say? Heard Island and McDonald's Islands. What? That's a place. Go to McDonald's Island. Well, I don't see where you can set it to the whole world. Thank you for the subs, Shazlama. How you doing? Right, keyboard's right. Yep, US keyboard. I have a US keyboard on this. Do you want to add a second keyboard? Skip. Skibbity doodah. Oh, okay. There is no world option. They're only in the Windows setup. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, I've got to say I've never even tried it. I know that that's been a recent trick on YouTube to stop all the telemetry installing. But I just uninstall the telemetry anyway afterwards, so no big deal. Lots of reboots. get the blue one back up again, I believe. Windows 11. Can get a bit confusing if you've got multiple entries that are called Windows 11. So there are some BCD edit commands that you can do to rename those and also reorder those as well. That are quite useful. Let's name your device. I'm going to call my computer Alex Gaming. I have an Alex Work, an Alex Gaming, an Alex Streaming, lots of things. Name me my device. Hey, Donny. Twitch is boring without your snipes, mate. How it's going? So, yeah, sorry. They've messed up sniping though, because they've increased the bullet speed. So I'm always aiming like about that much above people's heads, and it just goes over their heads now. So I need to. I mean, Ships had the same problem. OGL's had the same problem. It's kind of really messed us up with our aim, and then you aim at the actual head, and then it hits them kind of halfway down. So it's weird, the new sniping aiming system. We need a little fast forward button, don't we? I'm doing this live. Hurry up. Unlock your Microsoft experience. Wow, look at all the options it gives me for not signing in. Okay. So sign in options. Because I normally put my Microsoft account in there, but I don't really want to show you guys my Microsoft account. So I'm sure you've seen it already before a million times accidentally, but I'd rather not keep putting it in. So, forgot my username. Is there a way of doing this without showing you? Or is it going to make me sign in? Is it going to make me sign in? Is there a way of getting out of this? I don't want to sign in. Is there a way? I can always blank my screen, but I'd rather just do it as a local account. Oh, it's annoying. Giving me any option, is it? Throwaway email account. I could do. That's going to take a little time to set up. I'm going to blank my screen and set it up. Do it that way. Sorry, I'll chat and keep you company, but I'll have to hide my screen just while I stick my Hotmail account details in. Give me a second. All right. My name is Mickey.Mouse. At hotmail.com. Yeah, Mickey Mouse at hotmail.com. Yeah, that's right. Check my phone, 2FA. Put in a number for authentication. Yay. Auth. Doesn't matter if you know that one. Let's add your Microsoft account. Is it going to put it everywhere now? All over the blooming screen? All right. Okay, I think I'm all right. All right, let's put you back on again. And you're back in the room. 3, 2, 1, you're back in the room. Right, more options. Welcome back, Alex. More options, please. I don't want to restore from my previous PC. I want to set it up as a... Hello? Downloading graphics drivers. Set it up as a new PC. Create a pin. All right, then. Are you going to be able to see it if I do it? No, it's all right. Yeah, that. Right, so we don't want any of this telemetry rubbish. No. No. Required only no. So it's basically the second option on everything. No and no. No, thank you. I often just do gaming, but I think he just adds a load of game bar stuff. So I've recently just started not doing anything. Skip. I don't want to use my phone. They're obsessed. Microsoft are obsessed with you linking your phone to your Windows PC. I've got an iPhone. I don't need any of the weather apps or anything else. No, thank you. Nope. Bloatware. No, thank you. Skip for now. Looking for updates. Right. I think we're nearly in Windows. I think we're nearly there. Getting things ready for you. This may take a few minutes or a few hours. Bum, 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 bum. We'll need to do the BCD edits, won't we, after this? Just clean up that boot menu. Also, we can change to the black version, which is a bit cleaner, I find, not the blue version. Take a few minutes. Come on, I've got a gigabit up and download. I've got a really fast PC. Take a few seconds. Yeah, I'm excited. My missus has told me that we're ordering my new PC the week after next. Round of applause, everybody. Round of applause. So my monster new PC will be here probably in about a month. Hey, Cry. Hello, hello, hello. So it'll take CyberPower 2 weeks to build it, normally. And I've verified everything that I want with them that I can do as well, like changing the direction of the AIO cooler radiators so the tubes come out the left side, not the right side. So I've got more clearance over the RAM, so I can put a RAM fan on later. Done all those things. So yeah, we have Windows. Look at this, brand new Windows. And that's it really. Just to don't allow. Thank you. All I want to do is go and download Latency Mon. Have a look what my latency is. Number one, obviously the most important thing you can do, download. Free downloads. Find Latency Mon, download free home edition. Open file. Yeah. 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 On them. Yeah. 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 All right. So, although probably should stop like OneDrive trying to do anything. How do I get out of OneDrive? Oh my God. Tell you what we'll do. Go quickly into Task Manager, Startup Items. We don't want that. We don't want that. No, we don't really want that. Cortana's already disabled, thank goodness. So we've just basically disabled all the startup items. And then let's change the power plan as well. The high power. Use a power plan. Power saver. High performance. Right. So I want to know what the latency is out of the box, basically. So all we've done is we've just turned off all these things starting on startup, and we've just put the high performance power plan on. So let's reboot quick and go back in. Yeah, there'll be a load of content I can do from tuning that. Loads of tuning content. I'm really interested to see, because I'm going to get more FPS. but that's just kind of throughput. I'm kind of more interested to see whether it's going to be higher latency, to be honest, on the new PC, the new God PC. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in going to Fortnite and swinging a pickaxe. And I want to know whether I'm going to beat 8 milliseconds from clicking the mouse to seeing it on screen. I want to know whether I'm going to beat that with the new PC, because I don't think I am. And I'm interested to see as well because the DDR5 memory is going to be a lot higher latency. All right, so we've just rebooted after just stopping everything quickly. So how many processes have we got right now? Got 108 clean windows. Let that settle a little bit. Going up. We're going up. Yeah, let that settle. We'll do whatever it needs to do. Probably need to run a Windows update. Normally the first thing you should really do is run a Windows update. Yeah, but that will be awesome. I'm going to have loads and loads. I think I'm going to turn my camera around as well and not point at me, point it actually at the new computer. Because it's going to have, what, 11 LED fans in it. No, 10. Sorry, 10. 3 at the top for the AIO, 3 down the vertical ones, 3 at the bottom, and 1 at the back. 10 Liam Lee spinning fans. It's gonna basically be a light show. All right, so look, we have flat lines. Beep. Let's see what the latency is. After doing 0 tuning on Windows, let's see what the latency is. About 2 and about 0.8. 2 there. Process latency and about 0.8, what, 0.79, it's coming down actually, 0.77, 0.78. So that's with literally no tuning of Windows whatsoever. That's what we're getting. That is principally all BIOS tuning right there. That's turning off your C states. That's turning off virtualization. That's turning off hyper-threading. That's making sure your XMP is enabled or overclocked your memory. Yeah, these two here. 2 and 0.75. Which given, once I tune the computer, that's going to get down to about 1.4-ish. And that's going to get down to 0.7 will get down to about 0.5-ish. So it's not a massive difference. This is why I keep telling people that ask, what's the biggest thing you can do to reduce latency? And the biggest thing you can do to reduce latency is not tune Windows, it's not tweak Windows, it's to optimize your BIOS. They're the biggest things you can do by miles. I mean, I've got on people's PCs and I've seen this first number at like 90 and this number at like 30. I mean, so the thing, if you want to reduce your latency, the biggest thing you can do is optimize your BIOS for your memory and your CPU and your cooling. Memory, CPU, and cooling. You optimize those 3 things in your BIOS, your latency will plummet. So these people selling you $20 tweak scripts, all it's going to be doing is affecting these numbers from here and dropping Windows a bit. It's going to be tiny in comparison to what you can do in the BIOS. Yeah? And that you don't have to go crazy in the BIOS. As I say, enable XMP, disable C states on your CPU. If you've got a CPU with more than 8 or more cores, performance cores, P cores, then disable hyperthreading. If not, keep hyperthreading on, because you'll need it. Otherwise, you'll be hitting your cores at 100%, and then you'll be getting throttling and FPS drops and things. and then optimize your disable virtualization for your CPU, and then up your fans basically. Whether or not that's via the BIOS or whether you need to download a third-party app for Liam Lee or Corsair to control all your fans if they're all plugged into like a controller hub within your PC case, then you'll need a piece of software to do that. But yeah, they're the main things to get your latency down. Not tweaking Windows to death and just decimating it. I mean, you can get lower numbers here, but it's not going to make a massive difference. I mean, we're under 2 here, and we're 0.7, and we've got a completely full fat Windows 11 right now, where we haven't optimized it at all. So if we look at the CPU cores, if I move this down a bit, and we look at the cores here, pretty much everything is on core 0. Look, it's that 3.8 compared to the highest one, 0.27 here. So everything is fully loading onto bundling into core 0 right now. So when I do my optimizations, we're going to be we would move like your GPU interrupts onto another core, and then you'd move your input devices interrupts onto another core, and then that will kind of spread the load out, reduce the overall latency, and then in your average stats will then come down. So then, yeah, these guys here, these average ones will then come down because we've kind of spread the load out, and your core 0 is not being absolutely hammered like it is right now. It's not the bottleneck. My average is in the 4 to 5 range with tweaks. Do you think getting a new motherboard, it can solve some issues? So when you say average, do you mean the process? Do you mean the average measured interrupt process latency is between 4 to 5? Or do you mean the average DPC latency is 4 to 5? So the things that are going to get that down are things I've just mentioned in the BIOS. And making sure that you're not running balanced performance plan. Just the high performance one is I mean, I normally recommend the ultimate performance plan, but the high performance plan is apparently indistinguishable other than how it handles one disk drive, whether it goes to sleep or something. It's indistinguishable, the high performance Windows one and the ultimate one. So as long as you're not running balanced here, these numbers will be a lot lower. Will be a lot higher if you're running balanced. But if you just stick it on high performance or ultimate, then your main thing that will drive your latency down is the power plan, which out of the box, as I say, high performance or ultimate, and the BIOS changes. XMP on your memory, CPU turn off C states, CPU turn off hyperthreading if you've got 8 or more performance cores, turn off virtualization on the CPU, and then up your fans. That's how you get these numbers before you've even started tweaking Windows. This is a brand new, you just see me install it. This is a brand new Windows, and these are the numbers I'm getting. My average measured interrupt process latency is 3.5. Yeah, my processor is Ryzen. My Windows is tweaked. Yeah, so yeah, if you jump into my Discord, and there's a section on AMD BIOS tuning in the threads section, in the forum section. I know there's been a lot of arguing in there recently, saying no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. But there are some like YouTube video links in there that will help you optimize your BIOS for AMD processors. And then, I mean, like, I don't know if Zeppo's still watching, but he's running an AMD, and these numbers are probably lower than mine on my tuned environment. So that isn't what's gonna help. Can you help me dual boot Ubuntu with Windows 11 without any USB? No, I don't know how to do that, I'm afraid. Don't know how to do that. Not done that before, I'm afraid. This is just basically this is mostly targeted for people running Windows 10 or a custom OS that keep saying, I don't want to go to Windows 11 because it's laggier. Or I've got FPS drops. This is for them, where they can basically keep their current environment, install a brand new Windows 11, and then optimize that with my guide, and then compare back to back. You can just switch between the two when you reboot, and you can see whether one's laggier than the rest, because you can run like Latency mon on the desktop, and you can see what the numbers are in comparison between each environment. How is the Discord room called? Yeah. It should have come up. Nightbot should be spamming it. So if you... Is Nightbot? Yeah, if you scroll up a little bit in the chat, Nightbot should have given you a Discord link. There we go. There's one. Done it automatically for you. I've got it repeating every 5 minutes. So. Wait, can Ubuntu Wi-Fi work in Egypt? I have no idea, mate. Why do you want to use that operating system? To say, there's nothing wrong with Windows 11 these days. It's a good operating system. There's nothing wrong with it. If you do bloat it, it's a good operating system. I mean, not the link, the room name for AMD. Oh, okay, I got you. If you go into PC Tuning Forum, there's underneath there should be one down, AMD BIOS setups. I know there's been a lot of arguing in there, but I don't know if I can paste a link. Probably can't paste a link from there to YouTube. I want to go to the top. I need Sambo or Zeppo to post a link. Wait, where was that one? Nope. It's near the top of the thing, but there's been so much arguing in there recently that it's now 1,000,000 miles away. Okay. Not my Windows. It's kind of lagging with gaming. Well, just use my guide and optimize Windows, and then it won't be lagging with gaming anymore. PC is Intel Core i5 inside. Yeah, well, that's going to suck, I'm afraid. I'm streaming off an Intel i5 core right now, and that struggles just for streaming, let alone gaming. What's weird is when I turn C states off, my latency goes up. Really? It goes up? Shouldn't go up. Turning off C states. I mean, maybe it's thermal throttling if you're turning off C states, because you're turning off power saving, which obviously then increases temperatures, and if you're then hitting like 90 degrees centigrade, then you're going to be getting thermal throttling, and then it's going to be downclocking everything, and you're going to be getting more latency. But yeah, so I think you need to look at your cooling solution if your latency is going up after you turn off C states. Try and ramp up your fans if you can. Or undervolt the 13900K. Try and drop the voltage a little bit so it's not pumping as much voltage through the CPU and it's not generating as much heat. There are loads of YouTube videos out there of undervolting 13900K. Loads. There's no point in me doing one. I would be drowned out, literally. So yeah, that. I mean that 1.9. This is a brand new Windows. We haven't tweaked anything. 0.7. Absolutely tweaked nothing. Just what I've got in my BIOS. I mean, we can have a quick look around my BIOS if you like. But I mean, I've got an Intel i9 900KF, which is going to be replaced soon with an i14 14900KS. So, month's time, We're gonna have the fastest Intel processor on the planet, consumer, to play with. That'll be good fun. But I can show you on my BIOS quick if you like. But that's how to dual boot. Oh, do we want to do the BCD edits? We want to clean up a bit, actually. That might be worth doing. I've got a D drive. PC. D drive. I think I've got some BCD edit. Do I have a BCD? Boot menu names. There we go. Okay, so these are some commands you can use to kind of rename things, and then put things in different. Change that, and then change the orders. So these are quite useful. These are. So at the moment, if I right-click there, do terminal admin, and actually see what my BCD edits are. BCD edit. So you can see all the partitions that are in here now. And the current one is the new one we've just created. So I can tell whether you guys are running custom OSs, by the way, by just running that command and seeing if there's anything in there that I don't recognize. Oh, but I'm not running a custom OS, promise. Show me your BCD edits. So you can see it's like for an optimized one, this main one, you can see I have a part of my scripts, I had a few extra ones. These ones, pretty much. Yeah. So at the moment, that blue one is called standard. Remember when you reboot and then you get a blue screen or a black Windows Boot Manager? You can set that here, boot menu policy, standard or legacy. Is it legacy? Yeah, boot menu policy, legacy. So as part of my scripts, I had a few extra ones. I know you're running a custom OS because you've got some extra ones that I've never seen before. So yeah, so at the moment this is just called Windows 11, which isn't the best description in the world. So we're going to rename that in a minute, but I want to get rid of the old one first, and I can't remember how to do that. I'll do that later. So that's a clean. So it's this one that's basically that's no longer existed because we deleted that partition, didn't we? That was the old one we've deleted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this, the current one, give it a new description of that. So I'm going to rename the current one, copy, and give it a description of, what we're going to call it. I'm going to call it clean 2, I think, just so we can distinguish between the two. Clean 2. So this is the new one. So it won't be called Windows 11 anymore, and when we boot up, it will just be called Clean 2. Yeah. And the other one I like doing is, so this is going to be Clean 2, but what's the actual identifier number? What's the identifier number of the C drive one? There we go, current partition, the identifier number is, there we go. That one? Yeah, this one. Sequence. Would normally be called that. The identifier is the same as the recovery sequence. So, it's just called current at the moment. So I'm going to copy that. Why didn't that work? Why didn't that work? Give me the C drive. Current. Enter should. Oh, come on. Why is that not letting me do that? Only copy paste lets you do that. Try again. Right, actual copy. E. All right. So it's that one. So we now want the boot order be that. that, and then this one. Wait, no. I want all of that. And then the last one on the end, because it's going to be the clean 2 one. Yeah. So I'm just cleaning up the bootloader basically at the moment. So paste all of that. So the new order is the current. Wait, we've done current one. We don't want current one. I'm assuming I'm doing it from that. Oh, damn it! I need to do it from my main one. I need to do it from that, I think. Otherwise, I'm going to have to work out the numbers. Okay, well, we've renamed it anyway, so it should be a bit cleaner than Windows 11. But I can work this out later. Let's just get rid of that. So now when we reboot, we should have... Oh, updates are underway. It's been doing Windows updates in the background. Select right click. And maybe that would have worked. Normally, if you do select and then press enter, it copies and pastes it. Control C seems to work. Oh, hang on. I missed some comments there. Sorry, give me a second. Go straight in, isn't it? Because it's going to run the updates. So now we've got hide me again. Now we've got a clean 2. There we go. We need to get rid of that because we actually deleted that one. So I'll do that later. I'll clean that up. But now that doesn't say Windows 11 anymore. It says clean 2 because we just renamed it. And yeah, as I say, you can change the order. And I can change that to a legacy one, which is the black screen version as opposed to the blue screen version. I don't like the way it wraps it around here. I'd prefer them all to be in a specific top to bottom order. So that's why I prefer the legacy boot manager. But yeah, so you do that. Let's see if I can. Oh, I can't. Can I reboot? Can I reboot? No, I want to reboot. We'll go back in. Right, so I missed a few comments. What to do if my computer Windows does not load properly and a blue screen appears? Well, that's not good. What did you do to get that? Undo the thing you did to get that. Is my answer to that. Will you water cool your... Yeah, so I'm getting a Liam Lee 360 Galahad 2, which might not be the most efficient one at a certain volume, but it does I think it's the maximum cooling you can get if you turn the fans right up and they're really noisy. But I don't care about the noise. I'll just put the computer a bit further away from me or just work out something. I don't care about the noise. I just want the maximum cooling I can possibly get for that CPU because I'm going to need it big time. But why do you need 4 Windows installed? So I don't, well, what I do, so I have a main gaming environment. I have another environment that I have in case my main gaming environment breaks, and I can immediately just go over to a spare one. I have a test environment where I can test latency, because I have NVIDIA Reflex Latency Analyzer built into my monitor. So in game, I can actually test how long it takes to click the mouse to see it on the screen. But in order to do that with an overlay, I need to be running the full Experience Center NVIDIA drivers, which I don't want to do on my main gaming environment because it's pretty much bloatware. So I have a test environment with just basically that full NVIDIA driver plus the Experience installed, both of them, that I can test the latency of different settings. So I can test between different power plans. I can test whether high textures is better than low textures. I can test whether RTSS adds more latency than running in-game limiter. So I can run a load of back-to-back latency tests in-game with my NVIDIA Reflex Latency Analyzer monitor and actually measure end-to-end latency, which most people can't do. Most people can't do that. All they can typically look at, most benchmarkers and tweakers, all they typically look at is the software bit in the middle and the markers and seeing how long the latency is, and that really doesn't tell you the full story. So yeah, so I have an environment basically just for testing latency, and then anything I find, any findings I have from that, I then apply to my main gaming environment, which is the kind of stripped down driver version. Yeah, low latencies as I can get. So any settings I find in my test environment, I can apply to my main environment. And then the fourth environment, I typically have a clean Windows, because I find it really, really useful that if something goes wrong, or if I'm tuning my main gaming environment or test environment, and something goes wrong or I've tried a tweak, it's really, really, really useful to actually know what the defaults are for your registry. Incredibly useful. So you can just basically go back to whatever it was before, and just I can say, well, okay, this broke my PC. How do I undo it? And then I can just boot up my clean Windows environment, and I can look in the registry and say, okay, this is what it runs by default. We can now reapply that to my main one, and it's fixed. So that's why I have 4, because I've got 2 SSDs. I cut both of them in half. I put 2 Windows on each half, and the second SSD, 2 Windows on each half. That's why I've got 4. My next environment, my new PC, I'll probably only run 2. I'm getting a 2 terabyte, really, really fast SSD, like 10,000 reads a second or something. Read and write reads a second. And then I'll probably just cut it in half and just have a terabyte and a terabyte. I'll have a main gaming environment, a test environment, and then on my streaming PC, which was currently my gaming PC, I'll probably just keep the clean Windows reference things in there. I think that's my plan for the new PC. I'll just run 2. I'll run a main gaming environment, and I'll run a test environment. And then you don't have to worry about Windows and breaking stuff. You can just, if something goes wrong, you boot into the other Windows. I can actively then just go and I can't lose any files, because I can then just go into the other environment and grab it. So even if it can't boot up one of them, I can always then just still go and access all the files, because they're just on their own drive. Really, really useful dual booting. So yeah, I'm quad booting is what I'm doing. I've got a static D drive and HDD, and then I've got 4 other drives. Obviously that's my USB stick. I need to actually eject that. We don't need that anymore. We did that one. We installed Windows. I can take that out. So there you go. That clarifies things a little bit. Right, any questions on dual booting? If not, I'm going to go and sort lunch out. I know I've got 12 people watching. And if you joined later on, then I'd encourage you to just go and watch this live stream back, because I saved the VODs. So after I finish streaming, you can just go and rewind and watch it from the beginning again if you want to run a dual boot. But that's pretty much how you do it. So all you really need are those 2 download files. Which environment did we do it from? We did it from test, didn't we? Yeah, continue. Yeah, I can go to another environment at the moment. The downloads, get modified. So these were the 2 files we downloaded from the internet. So something to do the partition assistant to resize your C drive to half its size, and then create a new partition next to it, and then install new Windows into that, and then the media creation tool downloaded from Windows 11 download webpage, which we just installed onto one of these, plugged it in, and then we install Windows into the new partition, and that was pretty much it. It's pretty easy, to be honest with you. It's just a bit time consuming because you have to sit there and wait for new Windows to install. But once you've got the new Windows installed, you then know that you haven't messed anything up and it's nice and clean and you know nothing should be broken. So you can kind of go from there. I changed my AMD BIOS settings. I found a Google Docs where the best settings for low latency on AMD are. I didn't find all the settings of my BIOS, what were written in the document, but I found almost all of it, and then my average measured interrupt process latency is 2.4. Much better. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to advise you AMD guys on how to set your BIOS up, but I have no experience on doing that. I've only ever run Intel and NVIDIA for my PCs. So if you turn on smart factor in your BIOS, your PC sounds like it's going to explode. Shouldn't do, unless you've got really bad thermals and it's trying its best to counter them, and it's basically a warning sign saying that your thermals are too high. It shouldn't do. Smart fan, that should actually help you. I mean, my next PC will basically have, what, 10 Liam Lee fans, which will all go into a control hub, and then I'll just be able to, we'll use software in the operating system to do that. Let me go into the BIOS quickly, to show you guys around. So the things I've done to drop my latency. So let's have a look. We'll do that before lunch quick. But yeah, the BIOS is the main place to drop your latency. This is a 5-year-old computer now. That's why I need a new one. It's a very, very old computer. So, things to do to drop your latency in your BIOS. Number one, typically you'd enable XMP. However, I've manually overclocked my memory beyond XMP. So I've actually gone down 100 on the frequency, and I've gone down 1 on the latency, which is actually faster if you worked it out, because 200 frequency is normally equivalent to 1 CAS latency. So I've gone down 100, but I've also gone down 1 CAS latency. So yeah, it's actually faster. And then I've tuned all my subtunings. So that's why it doesn't say XMP up here. For most people that don't know how to tune their memory, I recommend all you have to do is click on XMP or XMP profile here, usually profile 1. That's typically all you have to do. And as long as your memory is compatible for XMP for your motherboard and your CPU, and you need to look those up, then XMP should be fine. Yeah, well, if you can't use XMP on your PC, it's normally because it's either locked out or because your memory is not compatible with your motherboard and your CPU. It hasn't been QVL'd. So yeah, so normally number one, click on XMP. Number two, go and find your CPU. Where have I got all my CPU stuff? This is a really old BIOS, so I'm sorry it's different places to other people. CPU, there we go, CPU features. So I disable hyperthreading, I disable virtualization tech, I disable VTD, which is another virtualization thing. I disable Intel C states. What else? I manually overclock my CPU as well, so it's all 5 gigahertz across all cores. So again, some of these things will be different for you if you're. So I then can disable speed shift and boosting and everything else because I'm not doing that. I increase my power limits, all my limits to maximum. These are all kind of 99999. So Intel C states, hyperthreading, virtualization. They're the main ones that I'd recommend you disable. And then once you've done those, you can go and sort out your smart fans. Tick, smart fans. Make sure pulse is enabled because it's actually more efficient for energy and it's better for cooling. if pulse is enabled as opposed to DC. Just go through all your fans and make sure they're all on smart mode and pulse is selected. But yeah, I've only got like 3 fans in this. Not many fans in this old PC. That one. You just need to go through each one that's got an RPM and there's tick the smart fans and the PWM. And then once you've done that, you should be able to get nice low latency. I mean, it's not huge. I mean, beyond that is then overclocking your CPU and then overclocking beyond XMP your memory. They will certainly help with FPS lows and you'll get a bit more FPS. The difference for me from going from XMP to fully overclocked memory was about an extra 6% FPS for top end and lows. Don't disable, it's going to sound like explosion. What are you talking about? What, the smart fan? Because if those smart fans, if you can't use smart fan here, smart fan mode, and these are going to get to 100%, it means you've got some serious temperature problems, and you need better cooling, or you need to change the thermal paste, or you need to change something. Because if these are running at 100% with you not kind of doing anything, then you've got a problem. You've got a big problem. I mean, look, 85 degrees, I've got 100% as the link here for my CPU. Link to my CPU temperatures, 100%. So I actually have 100% once I get to 60. So I've modified these smart fans a bit to be the same as my GPU's fan curves. I've actually modified these, my ones. So mine are very aggressive. Look, I've got 100% at 60 degrees C. So if you sound like you're going to explode, then yeah, something's going crazy. Normally the default fan curve is fine, but I've just made mine extra aggressive. Cubic says, I have smart fan, I don't hear my fans, but I tried it once. That's without smart fan. It sounded like it's going to explode. You tried it without the smart fan. But why would you disable it? I mean, if I disabled it, it depends what, well, it's running at 60% at the moment. But you'd need to then set the points for the, I think you just basically drag this up and down. I'm not going to do it, but didn't make any noise difference when I just did that. I mean, we're not under any load here because we're sitting in the BIOS. There's no load running through the system. So if you disable smart fans and it goes mental, then you've dragged it up to 100%, or by default, or you've got a cooling problem. Your system's running way too hot and it's trying to cool it down. I always go smartphone. Right, anything else I've done in my BIOS? Not really. You know what I am going to do though? I'm going to turn off my my motherboard network card, because I've got my own separate network card. I've got my own separate 10 gigabit network card, so I don't need it. So integrate peripherals, onboard controller, disabled. So I normally turn mine off, but you need it for when you're installing Windows, because that's the only one it's got drivers for. So now I've just disabled that. I'm going to go and change where that's plugged into, the Ethernet. Take that out. And there, plug it back into my original one. There we go. Oh, you're running multiple accounts. Okay, gotcha. What else? I disabled my HD audio controller. That's basically all the audio ports in the back of your PC. If you don't use those, you can disable that. I think that also controls the headphone jack at the top front of your PC as well, if you've got headphones. So yeah, don't disable that if you use those. But what I do is I output all my audio through my GPU for NVIDIA to my monitor, and then I plug my headphones into the monitor. That's what I do. You've got an audio out through that HDMI cable or the DisplayPort cable anyway, so you might as well just do that. I upped this the other day. I went from 47 to 48. I thought I'd give it a bit more juice on the ring ratio. Disable memory fast boot. That will then check your memory as it's starting up to make sure it's stable and adjust the timings a little bit for you to make sure it's stable. So it's worth disabling that so it doesn't skip it. But this, again, this is all in my guide. I've detailed pretty much everything I've changed in my guide. There's not much else really. Load line calibration. You need to play with that. So you need to basically use hardware info 64. Hardware info 64. Watch the V-core voltages, and then run something like Cinebench load or something, something that will heavily load your CPUs, and then see how much it droops, and then you can adjust it from 3 to 4, whatever it is, so it droops the least. And that's how you do that. There's a whole video in that one. Secure boot. Where have I got secure boot? I think you need the TPM 2.0 for Windows 11. I think there are ways around it, but what else? What else? What else? Yeah, I've disabled stuff that I just don't use. Where's the? This is connected, but once that reboots, that will be gone. Where's secure boot? I mean, you need to disable secure boot if you're going to overclock a controller with HID USB-F. There we go, secure boot. Windows OS configuration. So I've disabled secure boot so I can use HID USB-F. Mr. Biscuit, hello. Tiny 11 to get around the TPM stuff. But yeah, in terms of latency, the main things are XMP on via memory, CPU, turn off, wait, not that one. Turn off hyperthreading. If you've got 8 or more P cores, leave it on. Otherwise, you got 6 or something, or 2 or 4, then leave it on. Turn off the Intel any virtualization tech. That includes AMD ones as well. I can't remember what the equivalent AMD names are for those two. Turn off global C states, Intel C states. That will drop your latency. That should do. If you're turning Intel C states off and your latency's gone up, then you probably have a temperature problem and you need to sort out your cooling. But that's pretty much it. That will drop your latency more than any Windows tweaking will do. More than any custom OSs, more than anything in my guide of optimizing Windows and dropping your latency, the BIOS changes are the biggest things that you can do to drop your latency. Oh no. Yeah, I haven't seen much Mr. Biscuit this week. Hope you're all right, Mr. Biscuit, and the family. Right. Anything else in there? Otherwise, I'm going to go and sort my lunch out. Any other questions? Any other questions? We've covered your boots. Exit without any saving. Yeah, that's not good, mate. We don't like that. Yeah, I hope they get better soon. But default Windows. Nice default Windows. And as I say, I did a complete walkthrough from Clean Windows the other day for one of my videos. So if you haven't seen that, then go for that. I think it's linked in my at the bottom of my PC guide section on my Discord. Anyway, look for updates. Lots of updates. But I mean, I've been installing the latest cumulative updates for Windows on my other environments, and the latency has been coming down. So Office is So Microsoft is obviously working on performance optimizations. What's that? Why is that? That's a bit weird. Can I get more FPS with MSI Afterburner? Yes, you can. But the main way I get more FPS, because I run a CPU bottlenecked game where my GPU doesn't really do a lot, the main way I use Afterburner to do that is by doing a custom fan curve for it. Drops the temperatures, and then it makes your GPU run faster. So that's the main way I do it. But I mean, I used to overclock my GPU as well, and I get better benchmark scores. Great, but literally makes no difference at all in a CPU bottlenecked game like Fortnite. None whatsoever. You might as well just not run any overclock at all on your GPU if you're running Fortnite. There's no point to it. It literally doesn't make any difference. But yeah, Afterburner, big thumbs up. Right, I'm going to get my lunch. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, which is completely free, just press the sub button. Please go and do that. I think I'm on about 800 and something subs on YouTube. And I need to get to 1,000 before I can start making proper videos, because until I do that, I can't monetize, and then Google basically, even if I make a video with 1 million views, Google gets 100% of all the ad revenue from that. 100%. So I'm not going to make proper videos until I get to 1,000. If you're not already subbed to my YouTube channel, please, you don't have to go and watch it ever. You can just keep watching Twitch or whatever you want to watch on. But please pop over there, just do a sub. And it doesn't cost you anything subbing there. That would be most helpful, please. Yeah, I should be streaming later. So I'll have some food, and then I will jump on for some Fortnite and entertain you lovely Twitch subscribers that have subbed to my channel that I owe you lots of games for. So can I have a GTX 7450 and an Intel? Will I have much more FPS? So which game? Which game? If you're talking about Fortnite, then the limiting Fortnite. Okay, so the thing that determines your FPS in Fortnite is the speed of your memory and the speed of your single core CPUs. So if you can get your CPUs running faster and not thermal throttling, and you can get your memory running faster, then you will get more FPS. I basically swapped out my memory that came with my computer that was worked out it was 10 nanoseconds memory that came with the computer. And I changed out it for my current memory, DDR4, which was 7.5 nanoseconds memory. And my FPS, I didn't change anything else on the system, my FPS went up by 120. Just by changing out the memory to a slightly faster memory. So your bottleneck for your FPS is the memory speed and your CPU speed in Fortnite. People bragging about how they've got a 4090, it makes no difference whatsoever if your GPU is bored and your CPU is hitting 100%. It doesn't. having a faster GPU is not going to make any difference if your CPU can't supply it with, right, prepare this frame, prepare this frame, prepare this frame, prepare this frame to the GPU all the time. It's the CPU's asking the GPU to do that constantly. So if you're going to get really high FPS, the CPU needs to keep supplying it faster and faster. And the only way to do that is to have very fast communication speeds between your memory and your CPU. So XMP will be your biggest friend. Get some memory that you can run faster. Yeah, that's a very slow processor. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, but if you want to know how to optimize Windows, tweak Windows after you've installed it, then yeah, go find my guide. There's a video of me 4.5 hours walking through it afterwards. I know I need to make that a lot smaller and kind of make it quicker, so you guys don't have to sit there for hours going through it. But at least it kind of gives you a visual representation of how to do it. So yeah. I think we're good to go, yes? Lunchtime? Yes, I think we're lunchtime. So I'll be back after lunch, running some Fortnite on my main environment. But otherwise, I will catch you guys in the Discord or after lunch for any questions. Okay? All right. Bye for now.